Well, today I can release the name of our new product out called Immortalium. It's kind of like a new element with the last three letters IUM, like immortality with IUM added at the end, Immortalium. These are a double-layered tablet. One is for quick release. The second layer is for long-term release. And there's 120 in a bottle. And the bottle, gosh, it feels like it weighs a half a pound. It's a heavy violet-colored glass that keeps all light and radiation and everything else from penetrating into these wonderful tablets. And they're designed specifically using 2009 technology that was actually given a Nobel Prize in 2009 to help maintain the health and the length of telomeres. These end caps of our chromosomes, they're kind of like the little plastic ends of a shoestring that keep the shoestring from fraying. And after a while, you couldn't get this big puffed up frayed shoestring through that little bitty hole. So somebody came up with the idea of putting a plastic cuff on the bottom of it to keep it so it's a tiny little 1 millimeter diameter end of the shoestring you can put through the eyelets in the shoe. Well, the same thing is true with the telomeres. Historically, back in the 60s, there was a guy who was a gerontologist by the name of Leonard Hayflick, and he was growing human stem cells and human fibroblasts, which are kind of stem cells, in culture. And he learned that he could only get 51 duplications out of those cells before they died. It's referred to as the Hayflick limit, named after him, Leonard Hayflick. And, of course, this is all written up in the book, Rare Earths Forbidden Cures. It's written up in the book, Immortality. And certainly this story is part of the book, new book coming out, Epigenetics. And what we did was put together this product based on this 2009 Nobel Prize technology. And many companies have tried this before, but they have failed for a variety of reasons. Everything from their technology wasn't very good, their ability to fully exploit the information that was available and make a tablet or pill or capsule that could do what they said it did. And then thirdly, it was extremely expensive doing it the way they were doing it. Well, ours is about 1/5 the price for 4 times the number of tablets. So it's very inexpensive. You're talking about a couple of bucks a day for 4 tablets. I take 4 tablets. Next month, I'm going to start taking 8 a day. Right now, I'm taking as the label describes 4 tablets a day, 2 at breakfast, 2 at dinner with the rest of my supplements. This is not a replacement for the 90 for Life program. This is an add-on to the 90 for Life program. And this is going to help you in your quest to live well beyond 100 chronologically, say 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, and so on. And it's kind of interesting. The guy in modern times, 1933, his obituary was in the New York Times, 1933, Dr. Li, L-I, Chung Yu, C-H-U-N-G, middle name U, Y-U. And he died at 256, according to China. And every time after age 100, he received a certificate from the Chinese government when he was 100, then 150, then 200, then 250, and he died at 256. And he came from Sichuan. He was born there, lived there, he's an herbalist, and he died there at 256. And his obituary is very famous and was part of the story of Lost Horizon, the book and the movie. A very interesting guy. At any rate, China is the place where most of the rare earths come from. They use them in technology equipment, electronic equipment, computers, chips, printed circuit boards, telephones, and everything. So most of the rare earths that are used commercially, electronically, come from China. Well, it just so happens he comes from a place in China, Sichuan, that is very rich in these rare earths. And in laboratory animals, when you supplement laboratory animals with these rare earths, this is all talked about again in the books Rare Earths Forbidden Cures, Immortality, and the new book coming out, Epigenetics, coming out in 2 months from now. Very excited about this. Being published by a big publishing house out of New York. It's very exciting. And there's more and more information between 1994, when the book Rare Earths Forbidden Cures came out, 2008, when the book Immortality came out, and certainly 2014, when the book Epigenetics is coming out. there's a major progression in quantum leaps as this information has been accumulated on the telomeres and how they help you live longer, more healthily, and what it takes to make that happen. Well, this has all been combined in this new product by Youngevity, Immortalium. I just love the name, Immortalium, and it's like a new element. But it's a combination of elements. It's actually an alloy, if you will. It's a blend of dozens of nutrients, and particularly the things that specifically extend the life of and the function of telomeres, these end caps of the chromosomes that typically would shrink. Every time a cell would duplicate, the chromosome's telomere would shrink a little bit. And by the 51st duplication, the telomeres are gone, game over, those cells couldn't reproduce anymore. Well, guess what? We figured out a way to do this with healthy cells, and at the same time, cells that aren't healthy don't respond well to this whole program, and they just die off because they're not healthy. What a great add-on to the 90 for Life program. Immortalium. Contact your Youngevity associate today. As for rare earths forbidden cures, immortality, book epigenetics, the CDs From Here to Immortality, What Kills Billionaires, and lastly, Dial MD for Murder. We'll be back after these messages. Okay, Doug, what pearls of wisdom do you have for us today?
Well, this one won't surprise you at all, but this came from Fox News headline, Obesity Rates Triple in Developing World. They say the number of overweight and obese people have reached almost 1 billion in the developing world, overtaking the rates of industrialized countries. And this all comes from a report from the UK's Overseas Development Institute. They say the number of obese people has more than tripled in the developing world since 1980. In 2008, there was more than 900 million people in poor countries that were classed as overweight compared to around 550 million in high-income countries, almost twice as much. And according to the lead author here, Steve Wiggins, he says the statistics are quite sensational. It is a tripling of the number of people who are considered overweight and obese in the developing world since 1980. Said it's a very rapidly emerging problem and is now on a very large size. I guess no pun intended there. The obesity rates in China have almost doubled since 1980. Rate of obesity is still rising in richer countries, but not at the same rate as in the developing world. Two countries with the highest obesity rates are China and Mexico, where the number of overweight people have almost doubled since 1980. South Africa has obesity risen about a third and now has a higher rate than that of the UK. And they say North Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America all have similar overweight and obesity rates to Europe, explaining the developing world's obesity epidemic. According to Wiggins, it's associated with incomes and urbanization and a more sedentary lifestyle. So it is those emerging countries that have done the best at raising their incomes. And as you would say, probably along with those incomes and this urban industrialization is the lack of using wood ash.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Urbanization is exactly what happened. And I went to China 25 years ago for the first time, and you couldn't find an overweight person. I mean, it was impossible to find one. Today, almost half the people there are overweight. About a good 40% are obese. Half of them have diabetes, which is never a problem there before. And that's because they've all moved from subsistence farms where they use wood and animal manure as fuel. They would then put the wood ashes and the animal manure ashes into their gardens. And the wood ashes and manure ashes really aren't ashes. They're the minerals that the manure had in it and the minerals that the wood ashes had in it. And then they ate the food that sucked up all those minerals. Well, when they moved to the city, they don't have gardens anymore. Guess what? They all have electricity. That's the urbanization part. They all have electricity, propane, natural gas. They have no more access to plant minerals, a.k.a. wood ashes. And this is why they're growing so rapidly, because they went from no electricity 25 years ago to now the Three Gorges Dam in China has the biggest hydroelectric power plants in the world, produce more electricity, electricity-ified, if there is such a word, all of China, those three gorge dams. And then also it shut off the food supply to the ocean. That's why there's no fish left in the ocean. Now that we've overfished them, we've cut off the food supply by stopping the silt from the mountains getting down into the ocean, which fed the algae, which fed the plankton, the zooplankton, and then which then fed the small fish, the big fish, and we ate the big fish. Well, there's no more big fish because there's no more small fish. There's no more zooplankton. There's no more algae. because we've cut off the food supply by damming up the rivers and stopping the silt from getting down into the ocean. So we've got a twofer here. And the people are going to have to supplement, and so we're going to China to sell the 90 essential nutrients to the Chinese here. Watch it, because we're going to take over China health-wise with the 90 essential nutrients. Well, stick with us if you want to hear more about the 90 for Life program. Stick with us on Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Give us a call toll-free, 1-888-379-2552, and we'll be back after these messages. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Tennessee, and Diane, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Diane, you're on the air.
Hey, Dr. Wallach, how are you?
Fine. How can I help you?
I'm calling in from my husband, who is 64 years old, and he's a diabetic. He has high blood pressure, and he had a stroke in 2006. He has pain in his shoulder, in his neck, and his back, and he has neuropathy in his feet. And he's on stomach medicine, too. He's on Ranitidine.
Okay. Now, did he have irritable bowel syndrome or diverticulitis or Crohn's disease or gastric ulcers? Why is he on stomach medicine?
He had an ulcer years ago when he come back from Vietnam. He had a bleeding ulcer, and ever since then he's had to take medicine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did your husband ever have any skin problems? Any eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, that kind of stuff?
I don't think so. He's had some problems with some bumps coming up on him, but not no rosacea or any of that other.
Uh-huh. Okay, by bumps, you mean like rough areas in the back of his arms, or are we talking about bumps the size of a head of a pin, or are we talking about bumps the size of a grape?
Like the, not grape, the other one, the small. That's the head of a pin.
Okay, back of his head, or the head of a pin. Now, is this in the back of his arms?
No, he would have them like on his neck and back in his hairline, and the back of his neck, and behind his ears.
Okay.
But he did have dry patches in his ears and around his ears. He does have that.
Okay, that would be called atopic eczema. You have a dry patch the size of a dime or a quarter or something like that. Do you know if he had any asthma or chronic bronchitis as a kid or a young man?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
He did have...
Go ahead. He did have...
appendicitis, when he had appendicitis surgery when he was a child.
Okay, he did have appendicitis. Okay. All right. We got Shar on here. First of all, what does your husband weigh, Diane?
Right now, he weighs about 210.
210, okay. All right. Shar, get ready. You'll be up. Diane, get your pen and paper ready. We'll give you a diet. We'll give you a program for all your husband's ills after these messages. Okay, Shar, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, young lady, what is Diane's husband's underlying problem?
Well, he's like 70+% of the American public who has a gluten intolerance.
Absolutely bullseye, 100% A+. Exactly. And, of course, all this other stuff is generalized pain, joint pain, neck pain, back pain, peripheral neuropathies down his legs, his history of stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, his appendicitis. All this stuff is secondary to the gluten intolerance because it does damage the intestines. Now, so what diet would you put him on?
Well, he needs to probably help. Well, he needs the sweeties for the diabetes for sure. Mm-hmm. But I would put him on a couple of healthy brain and heart packs, actually, and then I'd give him the sweeties for the diabetes, and I would give him a bottle of Ultimate Daily for his circulation.
And the blood pressure. Mm-hmm.
And the blood pressure, correct.
Yeah, and what would you do for his peripheral neuropathies?
He needs Ultimate Daily. Right?
Well, what about his joint pain?
That he needs glucogel for that.
Well, there you go. Perfect. A+. So, a guy 210 pounds, I'd give him, I think it'd be easiest to give him the 2 healthy bone and joint packs per month. It's 1 ounce of the OsteoFX Plus at breakfast and dinner, 2 scoops of the Beyonce Tangerine NutriCrystals at breakfast and dinner, 3 of the EFA Pluses at breakfast and dinner, And then a big guy like this with all the other stuff going along, I'd give him 3 of the Ultimate Daily tablets, as you said, Char, 3 times a day. There's 2 bottles a month, 3 at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's for blood pressure, and also for the history of stroke, cardiovascular lesions of all kinds. 2 bottles a month, the Ultimate Daily, 3 times a day. I'd also give him the selenium, 3 of those 3 times a day for cardiovascular disease again. That'll be 3 bottles a month of that, 3, 3, and 3 through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, of course, his diabetes, his sweeties, 3 times a day, that's 3 bottles a month. And then he should take his fasting blood sugar every morning before he medicates himself, because on this program, his blood sugar is going to drop like a rock. And then, as you point out, he, because of the neuropathies and joint pain, he needs 2 bottles a month of the glucogel, so he could have 5 at breakfast, 5 at lunch, 5 at dinner. That would be a minimum of 15 a day, 5 at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Has 2 large bottles of glucogel per month. And then, because of his gluten intolerance, what sort of dietary restrictions would you give him?
Absolutely. Drop dead.
Absolutely drop dead.
No wheat,
no
barley.
gluten.
Yeah, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. And he's
Okay.
got to, and he needs to watch everything he eats. No burnt animal fat, no margarine, no salad oils, no meat with nitrates or nitrites in it. He needs to repair his intestines so that he can start to absorb stuff.
Yep. That old adage, you are what you eat, is absolutely positively not true. You are what you absorb. Okay. Well, stick with us. We'll be back with more Truth, Justice, and the Longevity Way after these messages.
Let's head to Jacksonville, Florida. And Deborah, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Deborah. You're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. How you doing?
Fine. Thank you. How can I help you?
I was calling because in my late 20s, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and by the time I was 35, I was dealing with high blood pressure. And when I turned 50, I had stents put in my heart, but I never really regained my momentum to move around or do anything because I kept being short of breath. And come to find out, my arteries are thinning, and my left bottom part of my heart is stiff, and it's not pumping the blood through the heart like it's supposed to. And my right artery, where the blood comes out, is not functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I've had trouble with my kidneys. They're now down to 3%. And so I'm dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, kidney problems.
Okay. Now let me ask you a couple of quick questions here.
Problems too.
Okay. Now stomach problems. You're talking about irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea, constipation. What are you
Well,
talking
I have a lot of constipation, and I had an ulcer, and my bowels, they go from soft to hard, and I get diarrhea a lot.
about? Okay. All right. Okay, get your pen and paper out. This is a Char thing here. Char, you know what to deal with here.
I sure do.
What's your basic problem?
She has, again, a gluten intolerance, obviously. And then this is what leads up to all these diseases, because when your intestines are burned up and raw and inflamed, you can't absorb anything, and you keep getting different diseases. Every 6 months you'll come down with a new disease.
Yeah, and these are all nutritional deficiency diseases because you can't absorb nutrients.
Right. It's not, again, she may be eating the right stuff, but she's not getting it. Her body's not able to use it.
Very, very good. Now, Deborah, do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. I have five sisters, and I had 2 brothers. One died.
Okay, now any of
And
them have
motherfucker,
similar diseases to you?
They all of us are dealing with high blood pressure.
Okay. Any of them
And
have skin
me
problems
and
or
my
bowel
mom
problems?
Bowel problems, not that I know of.
What about asthma or bronchitis?
No.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have 3 daughters.
Okay, did any of them have bronchitis or asthma or bowel problems?
No. Mm-mm.
Anybody have skin problems?
No. My grandson is dealing with some psoriasis or eczema or something right now.
Okay, well, this is, how old's your grandson?
He's 17, and I have some younger grandchildren that had eczema real bad.
Okay, now these are kids of your daughters, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Shar, this is a Shar thing.
Well, it's a gluten intolerance again, and they estimate that over 70% of Americans have this problem now. And they say, the wheat is not the wheat that our grandparents ate. They've doctored it up so bad, it's really killing us now. And it's becoming epidemic. Gluten intolerance has gone mainstream. They're talking about it on TV, on all the talk shows. The grocery store is full of tabs with the soup and everything, gluten-free, gluten-free, gluten-free. And they never had to tell us this before, but it's so bad now that everybody has to be aware of it.
Absolutely. Now, let's see here. What do you weigh, Deborah?
I weigh 233 pounds.
And how tall are you?
5'7".
All right. Yeah, 5'7", I'd like to see weigh maybe 160, 150, 160. You need to lose about 60 to 70 pounds here. We can do that safely over 3 or 4 or 5 months. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But as Shar is exactly right, your basic underlying problem, the underlying problem of all your brothers and sisters, the underlying problem of all your children is everybody has a gluten intolerance. So everybody has to get on a gluten-free diet. As a gift of love, I'd give everybody in your family, your kids, your spouse, your grandkids, it sounds like they're old enough, if they're in their teens, they need to all listen to the CD, Serial Killers. It goes through all the hidden places you're going to find gluten. And what it does, as Shar points out, is actually inflames the lining of your intestines, reduces up to 85% the ability of your intestines to absorb nutrients. That's why every couple of years you develop a new disease. It's not unusual. We've seen people with 25, 30, 35, 40 different diseases over a period of 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 years. And the doctor says, you have bad genes. No, you have a gluten intolerance. So what I would do is get yourself and all your kids and your grandkids and your brothers and sisters and all their kids on a gluten-free diet. It'll save you an enormous amount of money, enormous amount of grief and misery, unnecessary misery. And then let's start with yourself at 233 pounds. I'd have you take 2 healthy heart and brain packs per month. Let's start out as a base. 2 healthy heart and brain packs per month. And that would allow you to take 3 of our selenium at breakfast and dinner. That's good for your kidneys. It's good for your heart. It's good for your muscles. It's good for your eyes. It's good for everything, your brain. Then I would also have you take, in addition to all of the nutrients in the healthy heart and brain packs, you'll take a full dose of breakfast, a full dose of dinner. But also because of the high blood pressure and the kidney failure, I have you take the Ultimate Daily tablets, and I'd have you take 9 a day, the Ultimate Daily tablets, because you got so much going on with arteries in your heart, in your kidneys, and so forth. I would have you take 9 of those a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. That's 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily tablets. And then, let's see here, you said you had diabetes too, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would throw in the sweeties. You want to take 9 of those a day, 3 at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 3 bottles a month. Be sure that you're taking your fasting blood sugar every morning when you begin to medicate yourself. Do not medicate yourself until you take your fasting blood sugar. That way you know how much medicine to give yourself. It's not unusual that the first medication you're going to be able to wean yourself down on or off of would be your diabetes medication, because you can control that based on your blood sugar levels. Blood pressure should also come down. As it comes down, you'll be able to reduce your blood pressure medication. And then don't cold turkey. You want to just slowly, gradually wean off of it. And you're going to get the selenium in the healthy heart and brain packs. Let's see here what else you need. I think that covers just about everything. I would also throw in the glucogel for joints and back and that kind of stuff. I would go ahead and throw in 2 large bottles of glucogel. You can take 15 a day, 5 at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not only is that going to help with cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone matrix bone itself, but also it's required as part of the stuff to maintain the arteries, the big arteries, the aorta coming out of your heart, coronary arteries, brain arteries, and so forth. You need that collagen to deal with that, also the arteries of your kidneys. And so I want you to give us a call back every couple of weeks, every time you get a report from the doctor. We need to know your kidney function, because I fully expect it. If you jump on this, as we've said, get on that gluten-free diet, get rid of fried foods, processed meats, oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, and oats, and inflammation, arteries will go down, kidneys improve, heart improves, blood pressure goes down, your blood sugar go down this thing here, as we've outlined for you. Your heart will be happier with all this. And guess what? You're going to be able to wean off of most or all your medication, and your doctor's going to be scratching their head. We don't know why. Deborah's getting better, but she's getting better. Call me every 2 weeks. We'll be back after these messages. We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Longevity and 90 for Life Crusade. And Doug, let's go to callers.
And let's head to Maryland. And Carmen, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Oh, Carmen, you're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. I'm calling about my mom. I
Okay.
finally convinced my sister to let her take BTT, and since she weighs 200 pounds, I having her take one drink in the morning and one at lunch, and
Okay.
the Z Radical because she used to have breast cancer, and Osteo FX Plus, one in the morning and one at night, an ounce, and EFA Plus, one with each meal, and she's still getting dizzy, and I think it's from the medication. She's on like 5 different high blood pressure medications.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, what you need to do is, wait a minute, what you need to do here is contact the doctor that gave her those medications. Say, look, we think she's being over-medicated. She's just dizzy all the time. And which one should we wean her off of? Say, if she's on 5 medications for blood pressure, don't you think she should be reduced to 2 because she's dizzy, can't function, and we believe it's due to the medication? And so I'd work at that with a guy who prescribed them because he'll know which one is the least important, okay? And then you're giving her a perfect program. This takes a little while. It might not hurt to get a hold of a jar of the CM cream. You take a Q-tip and put that down in her ears, and sometimes that'll help with the dizziness. But if it's due to the medication, she's got to get rid of 1 or 2 of the 5, and you got to go back to the guy who prescribed them. Give me a call when you find out which one the guy says you can begin to reduce. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to North Carolina. And Ovita, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Ovita, you're on the air. How can I help you?
Hi, doctor. I spoke to you before about a couple months ago. I'm a rep for the company, and the Healthy Start Pack is not agreeing with me, and we did talk about this before, and you told me to get on the enzymes and the glucose gel, and it didn't help. I tried taking that 2 weeks before.
Okay, well, stop. How much? Stop. How much do you weigh?
Okay. I lost a couple pounds because I was on the ASAP, so I lost about 15 to 20 pounds. So I'm down to about 220.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Well, there's 115 fruits and vegetables in the Beyonce tangerine, and it's not unusual. I'd say 2-3% of the time, people are allergic to a strawberry or some green thing in there. They get gassy when they eat the beans that are in there and so forth. And so what we do in that case is switch out from, instead of the Healthy Start Pack, go with the Osteo FX Plus or the Cal Toddy. If you're allergic to shellfish, I'd go with the Cal Toddy. If you're not allergic to shellfish, I'd go with the Osteo FX Plus, 1 ounce twice a day because of your weight. And then secondly, I'd go with what's called Ultimate Classic. It's one of our original liquid multiples. It's just fantastic and doesn't have the 115 fruits and vegetables in it. And so I would go ahead and start out with 1 ounce of breakfast, 1 ounce of dinner, and then the 3 EFA Pluses. I would go ahead and get 2 bottles a month of that, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner. Again, because of your weight, it goes along with the weight thing. How tall are you, Ovita?
I'm 1 1/2.
Okay. So what I would do, I'd like to see you down in 5'1 1/2", 5'2". I'd like to see you down to, say, 110 pounds. And so what I want you to do, in addition to taking all of the supplements we just talked about, I would also throw in, as you're doing the ASAP, and it wouldn't hurt also to do the sweeties. I'd throw in the sweeties that's going to help you with the metabolism of carbohydrates and fats and sugars at the subcellular level, support and promote healthy blood sugar levels. And let's go with that. Call me every couple of weeks. I want to know your weight. I want to know your energy. And let me know how you're doing. You're welcome to call every day if you wish, but don't wait longer than 2 weeks. When you switch out and go with the Ultimate Classic, That's usually enough to stop any kind of bowel problems you have associated with the BTT, Beyond Tangerine, because of 115 fruits and vegetables. There are 2 or 3% have a problem with one of them. So there's no way to find out which one it is easily. So just get rid of it, get the Ultimate Classic. Well, thank you, everybody. Really great questions and testimonies today. Thank you so much, Shar. Super job as usual. Thank you so much, Doug and Billy. Superlative job as usual. God bless each and every one of you. God bless our troops. God bless our Navy SEALs. And God bless America.